Nigerians are continuing to mourn the death of 26-year-old job seeker Iniubong Umoren, who was murdered after being lured to a fake interview. Our ICE correspondent Amaka Okoye has traveled to the crime scene.
It took Iniubong Umoren about 45 minutes to make the journey here. She took a bike to Iniubong, where she thought she would be attending a job interview. Instead, she was murdered. The site has now been cordoned off. We were not allowed in. Onlookers stood around in complete shock. Most of them are reluctant to speak about the case that has rocked the nation.
We didn't even see the person, like the man, Frank Akpan, as a dangerous person, because the man is very calm, gentle on the streets, playing with children, making some fun like that, just interact with people. The only thing is that the man doesn't allow anybody to go in there except people that want to go and fetch water. He doesn't like somebody leaving the street to go other street to go and fetch water. The only people that he allows are those that want to go and fetch water, and they just go in and go out. That's all.
The fact that a young girl can actually come in search of a job, and she came all the way through the town into the villages, different villages, through the different untarred roads, to this Iniubong and to this building. And the fact that she's so driven, not just to do very well, perform very well in school, but actually to get a job and sustain herself. And she then decided to go beyond this point into this building. A person that was an orphan at the age of 2 to earn a living because she had actually sent and paid her way through high school, secondary school, and the university, and was now awaiting to go for her youth service, a thing of pride, now had to find her way all the way through this village to this building and to meet someone that actually ended her life and then buried her in a shallow grave in these premises.
It was on a Thursday like this, exactly 2 weeks ago, on the 29th of April, when Iniubong Umoren walked into this building alive for a supposed job interview, but never made it out alive. This is Iniubong village, exactly where Iniubong Umoren was killed, in that building. Iniubong is the best graduating student from her department, the Department of Philosophy in the University of Uyo, where she graduated from. Tomorrow, she will be laid to rest. But the question is, will Iniubong ever get justice? Amaka Okoye, Arise News.
Well, our ICE correspondent Amaka Okoye, actually who's on ground in Akwa Ibom State, actually joins us now to give us more on the latest developments. Amaka, thank you so much for being here. You know, just watching that report and of course everything that we have seen concerning how her life, you know, was taken away just for seeking a job. But let's talk about the latest. What have you found as you are on ground in Akwa Ibom State that is not really in the public purview?
Right, Amaka, indeed, like you said, there seem to be so many things happening at the same time, especially regarding Iniubong's death. Fortunately, tomorrow she will be to rest. I suppose one of the things that we cannot rightly, express depth of, the depth of pain, the depth of anger, the depth of confusion, that we saw today when we went to that place. Even villagers are saying, look, we are really shocked that this sort of thing will happen. You heard the young man trying to describe that's the suspect as a very gentle, friendly person, who relates with. So nobody ever suspected that such crime, such heinous crime would have happened there. So for those that we met, the villagers, onlookers, most of them who would not want to speak to us, they're so shocked to their bone marrows, if you like, to see what is going on or to hear, to understand that this is the sort of thing that has happened there. If you go into that place, it's mean, looks calm, not relatively, looks really calm. It's just like your regular village. So it's hard to even be able to suspect or to imagine that that level of crime is, it's been happening there. Like, yes, the commissioner did mention that it's a crime scene and it's been cordoned off. We couldn't, as you would imagine and as you would understand, go in there. But of course, we saw, things like shoes, things like books, a few things here and there that, of course, we cannot place or explain who owns or what they are. But yes, indeed, the place is now a crime scene. While we're there, we saw a lot of people also coming to just see, just to stand and pause and to wonder. A lot of people looked distraught, just standing and imagining. So this girl actually walked in here, 2 weeks ago on the 29th of April, hoping to come for an interview, but never came out alive. So that pain is still palpable, it's still there, if you like. That confusion is still there. That anger as well, is there. Some people would not even want to speak to us because they're also very confused. What is going on? How did this happen? How is it that nobody even imagined that stuff like that was going on there? Remember, this building is not an isolated building. There are other buildings. There's a small church, if you like, right after the building. Yet nobody knew that this level of crime is happening in there, and nobody, of course, could have heard her if she raised alarm, even if she cried. It's impossible to know. Remember, there was a gate there. Actually, what you're seeing now is already destroyed. As you do know, community people went in there and destroyed the gate. Otherwise, it's a gated compound with a big and a smaller gate. So when people walk in, especially those who go to fetch water, they just walk in through the smaller gate and then come out through that the smaller gate. The supposition is that she would have walked in also through that gate, but unfortunately never came out alive, Amaka.
Okay, so Amaka, with what we're seeing there, the entire premises just seems so desolate that it beggars belief that anybody would have gone in there for an interview. Are you hearing anything in terms of all the other things that are said to be property of others or properties of those who are supposed to be resident in there?
Right. The young man who led the bike person who led us there said, look, we bring people here. It's like your regular village. So it's hard actually, Kayode, to suspect that anything is going on there, because from the outside, before it was destroyed, it just looks like a normal building. You would suppose that, this is a building that it's coming up, so maybe people may be living in there, people may not be living in there. In fact, there is some sort of this guy's farming that looks like it's going on there. So some of the villagers were saying to us, look, we always thought that there are farmers in there, because we see people go in there and come out. So the man doesn't allow anybody to come in, especially those who have come to fetch water. So it's really, really hard to wonder. I'm just only wondering what would have happened to her when she appeared that place, and it didn't look like, it doesn't look like any office. It looked like a resident. We don't know, unfortunately, what he would have said to her to convince her to come that far, because look, where we're talking about it's not a 10-minute journey. It's over 45 minutes travel, and she went in. The roads are not it's not like a straight way. It's hard to know what level of conviction, that made Ini, unfortunately, to go there. It doesn't look like, your normal maybe premises for job or office. But yes, eventually never came out. So yes, indeed, we are not sure, what happened. But unfortunately, that's the situation. That place, okay. It's everybody who sees it will say, look, it looks like a farm. But
okay. Thanks, Amaka. Thank you very much for that report. And we heard that the burial is tomorrow, so we'll wait to hear from you as you're out there on ground.